Good evening. I'm Jason Johansson, the homicide lieutenant with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. And I'm here to brief you on a homicide investigation that we are currently conducting at the 3900 block of South Jones inside an apartment complex. This is located in the area of Jones and Flamingo within our Spring Valley Area Command. Earlier today at approximately 2:42 p.m., officers from the Spring Valley Area Command were dispatched to a report of a shooting inside the apartment complex located at 3900 block of South Jones, which is located directly behind me. As officers were directed into the apartment complex towards the northeast corner of that complex, they arrived at an apartment that was upstairs, and upon making entry into that apartment, they located 4 victims, 3 of which had been shot and 1 had been stabbed. 3 of those victims were quickly transported to UMC. 1 of those victims was treated here on scene for a stab wound. Why those victims were at UMC, 1 of them unfortunately was pronounced deceased. Based on those details, my homicide team has responded. We have taken over this investigation. The preliminary details that we know right now is that our deceased victim, this is a dispute between our deceased victim and her estranged ex-husband. That the victim was inside the residence with relatives of hers and her children when all of a sudden they heard banging at the door, and then they heard gunshots, which was when the suspect, her estranged husband, made entry into the apartment. And when he made entry into the apartment, he began to shoot at several members of the family. After the shooting that occurred inside of the apartment, the suspect, who now we know arrived in a white vehicle, left in that white vehicle and drove back to his residence, which is located in the area of Spring Mountain and Torrey Pines. As Metro officers began to learn this information and went to that residence, we noticed that that car was already gone from the scene, and a short time later, the suspect arrived at our LVMPD headquarters in the suspect vehicle, and where he was taken into custody by officers, and he did have lacerations to his back, indicating that he had been stabbed. What we know right now is that the deceased is his estranged wife inside the residence. All other parties that are at UMC sustained non-life-threatening injuries, and they are still being treated at UMC at this point in time. There is no major shutdowns related to this aside from the scene inside the complex and the scene that is at the suspect's residence, and obviously the scene where the suspect's vehicle is at our headquarters. Right now we're processing every one of those scenes simultaneously right now as we work to find out ultimately what led up to this and what all the information pre this incident taking place today and days prior to this incident. That is all the information I have right now. I'll take any additional questions you may have.
Is the suspect the 4th person and the person that was stabbed, or are there 4?
No, we believe no. So the suspect is not. I'm not counting that in my victims. So I have a deceased mother who is in her 30s. I have a male who's in his 30s with a gunshot wound. I have a female with a laceration to her hand. And then I have the male suspect with a laceration to his back, and then there's an additional female in her 40s who's related to our deceased victim, who also has a gunshot wound. Again, all other injuries related to this are non-life-threatening.
Can you describe the scene as that victim came in? Did that HQ see the knob, or did they make it to the lobby, or in the parking lot? How did that scene unfold?
I'm sorry, it was loud. The question is, like, what was the scene like at our LVMPD headquarters?
Did anybody in the lobby, or did they get outside in the parking lot? Describe that scene.
The best I can describe the scene at our headquarters was the truck pulled in. People recognized right away because we had the suspect description and the suspect plate for that vehicle, which was a white truck. Right away, officers. It sounds like he went straight to officers and made contact with officers, and then he was taken. They quickly connected that he was connected to our event. I'm still getting the details on who specifically the lease is to at the apartment. I don't have that right now. There is quite a few family members involved. We're ascertaining right now who actually lives there and who was actually like there just visiting.
Were any of the children?
There were people there. Yeah, there was a 14-year-old, and then there was a 2-year-old. The 2-year-old is unharmed, and the 14-year-old is the one with the laceration to the hand.
Do you know who gave the laceration to the suspect? Was that someone?
We're still confirming how that part happened.
I know we've had a significant uptick in domestic violence situations this year and homicides related to domestic violence. Do you have a message to the community regarding that?
my message to the community has remained the same, and you're right. We have experienced an uptick in domestic violences, and I don't have the silver bullet for how to prevent them. What I do know is that there are a lot of resources that people don't know about. Even if sometimes people think the Metro is the only one that has the resources, and it's not. There's actually quite a bit of non-governmental entities that deal with domestic violence that can help you out without ever getting law enforcement involved. But on the law enforcement side, if you are feeling threatened in any way, you have the harassment statutes, you have the TPOs and the emergency TPOs that people can file. You also have where people can go seek advice from non-government entities on how to assist you with those, but also how to get counseling in a lot of these matters. But that would be my message to me. If you know you're a victim and you're not reporting it, please report it. If you know that you are worried about something happening, let us know. Because then we can at least know that you feel threatened, and maybe it's a situation that does require some more intervention on our part, or at least we're aware that we want intervention. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.